What's up guys, Hype here today with a tutorial on how to do the Dark Saber energy sword effect from my latest edit, Liftoff. So to do this you're going to need three things. You're going to need your clip, you're going to need Adobe After Effects, and you're going to need a free plugin called Saber made by Video Copilot that I'm going to link down in the description. So this is roughly what the final product's going to end up looking like. I'm not going to be adding any color correction so you won't be seeing that, but the sword effect should be pretty much identical. So what you're going to come do is open up your raw clip, and we're going to need to mask out this sword frame by frame. Now I recommend when doing this that you copy and paste or duplicate your layer. I recommend doing this anytime you're masking, but for this it's really important. So next thing you're going to do is actually mask out your sword. So usually when I would do this, I would really zoom in and I would make a really nice clean mask around these straight lines and these curves, make sure they're really clean, so my mask turns out really well. Don't really have time for that right now. I don't want you guys to sit here and watch me for 3 hours masking, so I'm gonna do a really rough mask. So let's get started here. So I'm going to do this kind of rough. The other thing that I'm going to do is usually for this you're going to need to mask every single frame that you're going to do this. So let's say you have a 3-second clip that you want this to be on. That would be, assuming 30 FPS for your clip, 90 frames. 90 frames would take me a very long time. So I'm also going to cut down and just do 2 frames so you see the method and how to go from one frame to the next. But you don't have to sit here and watch me. I think it took me 3 or 4 hours to do this initially when I actually did this. So frame 1 already done. Now you're going to do is you're going to go into your clip, you're going to hit M, open up your mask, then you're going to hit on the stopwatch to keyframe. You go to the next frame, and then you would have to come in here and adjust this mask, all these points exactly how you want them. Now, I know if you're an editor, you might be saying, why are you not rotoscoping this? Why are you hand masking this? And if you're just trying to isolate the energy sword or whatever you're doing this, then you would mostly be right. Rotoscoping would be much faster and maybe even give you a better product. But using a mask is actually really important for using Saber with. I don't think you can use Saber with Rotoscope. So unfortunately, you're gonna have to do this by hand if you want this. At the end, I will be showing you what you can do with rotoscoping, just in case you don't have the time and you just want to get a similar-ish effect without putting hours and hours and hours into masking. So let's say this is done. You're ready to go now. Next thing you're gonna want to do is create a new layer, new solid. Make sure it's black, call it Saber. You're then going to take your mask that you just made and you're going to copy and paste it into Saber. Okay? You're then going to add effect, Video Copilot, Saber. You can see it just comes up with like a black line, or sorry, black background with a blue line. You're then going to change this blending mode over to screen. So that's basically turned all the black into transparent. And then you can come in here into customize core, change it from Saber over to layer mask. So you now have this really cool Saber, kind of lightsabery neon outline around your sword. To get this to look exactly like I did in Liftoff, you then want to go back to your initial sword clip, so that's this layer right here. You're then going to go into color correction, add a hue and saturation. Where is that? Right there. And then turn this master lightness all the way down to 0. So you now have a black sword with this Saber outline. You can then come into your settings and you can change anything you want for this, but to make this specifically how I did in Liftoff, you come down to neon. You're going to want to change this color to like a white. Turn this glow intensity up to about 100%. And there you go. So obviously once you add some color correction, it's going to make it look a little different, you know, and in this there's a lot of trap code shine, red trap code shine at the top, blue trap code shine at the bottom, plus a magic bullet. So, you know, it's going to look a little different when you add your final color correction, but this is what the effect looks like without that. You can change this up. So let's say you would rather it look a little different. You can come over to say arc reactor. It'll change it to this kind of electric-y look, and you can, I don't know, make this like 170 as your glow intensity. And now you have this kind of cool electric haze kind of look. And then you can come into your sword, and let's say you don't like the black, you know, you want something different. Let's say you want it to be super saturated and you want it to be, you know, blue. So now you have this really cool blue sword. Or you can switch the hue, make it pink. So now you have this cool blue outline with this pink sword. You can even keyframe your color range, and so that, you know, it kind of strobes around all these colors as you're walking around. That could be kind of cool. Or you could even go into your Saber and change this to some other ones that I'm also a fan of. I like Tesseract is kind of cool. Patronus is kind of cool. It really comes down to what you want the final product to look like. This is a really customizable effect. You don't even have to use this on sword. You can use this on a sniper. You can use this on, I don't know, real life footage. You can do whatever you want with it. It's really, what I really want to show you guys in this video is the kind of power of this plugin, and you can, you know, watch the tutorial. I'm also going to link down below to get the full effect of it. And also that, you know, masking sucks, but it's really, really powerful tool that you need to know if you're going to edit. So I said that's the entire effect. So let's move on to maybe some alternatives. If you don't want to sit there and mask, you can rotoscope. So basically you select your roto brush, you double click on your layer, and then you can come in here and you can click and drag. And as you can see, I mean, within seconds, this layer is going to be rotoscoped or basically masked out. Of course, you cannot, like I said, you cannot use Saber with this, but you know, you can get some similar looks much easier. So you can see I'm already, I mean, you're gonna have to, you might sit here and clean up these edges a little bit, but for the most part, I mean, after, you know, just seconds, you have your sword completely isolated out. And of course you would have your background in there, and then you can come in here and you can add the same similar effects, not specifically Saber, but you know, come in here, you can up the saturation. Now you have this really saturated blue sword instead of what it was earlier. And also it's much easier to go frame by frame with this. As you can see, this is rotor brush is now propagating, so it's going to the next frame and it's going to try to do the same thing. It's not always perfect. You're going to have to tweak it a little bit. But you can see that it's doing a pretty good job in here. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on anything else or any effects that you specifically would like me to do, link them down in the description. Let me know. I would like to do some other effects from Liftoff or anything else that I'm coming up with recently. But I hope you guys learned a little bit about After Effects today, and see ya. Talk to you later.